Okay, back into the 66 Monza. Obviously got some rubbing in the drive shaft here from the hose. The hose is not, it's not floppy, it's good and stiff. Am I missing a hanger, or does it just, you just push it up and hope it stays up? How do we stop this from happening? As this axle flexes upwards, it causes the center part of this to rub on the heater hose. Bad. This steel on this hose is actually tougher than the axle, and in fact, if left long enough, could cut right through that axle. Not a good thing. So I looked in the manual, and we'll take a look at the manual on the bench. In the manual, you can clearly see number 2. So you can clearly see number 2 is a strap held up with the number 1, which is a screw. So I had the clamp at the end here and the clamp up here, but I do not have the strap holding up this heater hose. So a quick look online, and I found exactly what I needed. We're going to take this piece of stainless that I happen to have, and I've figured out how long I need it. I'll explain that in a minute. And we'll make up a new strap. Okay, so after cutting out the strip, it was a little rough along the edge just from the cutting process, so I just took a hammer, beep, 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 just worked the edge here, and that smoothed it out. I don't even need to sand or anything like that. It's good. This is 3/4 inches wide. I needed a 3/4 inch at the end, so I just used the clamp there, clamped it and bent it. So now I need to form it into a circle, and I found a paint can that's exact same size as the pipe, the hose, so I will just wrap that around there, and yeah, making progress. Okay, so I wrapped it around this tin, marked it, and bent that. So now we need to take these 2 pieces and connect this together, so that it looks like that. Like that. There we go. Okay, so I have a spot welder. I'm going to use a spot welder and just give that a little spot weld. Okay, so there's my spot welder, 220 volts. Hooked into extension cord, which runs all the way over to the air compressor on the other side of the Corvair. I'll just turn the air compressor off to make sure we don't try to fire up spot welder and compressor at the same time. I'm going to mount this in the jaws here. Boom. I'm going to do a couple, 2 or 3, probably maybe 3 spot welds. So we'll just one hand to hold that, one hand to clamp that down, and then we'll see if we can fire it off. Hang on. Okay, did the 1 spot weld. So now I'll mount that back in here and do a couple more. Okay, so there's a spot welder in place. And I'll flip the switch. Okay, we'll try that one more time. So there you go. 1 clamp, spot welded. Need a couple of holes up top here. Clamp it in. Turned out pretty good. Okay, so using my the photo of the purchase part, I just guessed that that's approximately where the other holes were. That hole's about 2 inches from here, and that's about 3 3/4. Anyway, let's go drill a couple holes in that, and the part will be ready to put on the car. Okay, so there's the finished strap, spot welded, holes are drilled. I guess it's ready to install. Okay, so I've determined that that's the finished required. Cut off the end of that, and figured out the distance from here to here, and I'll show you on the car. Okay, so there's the hose coming down. That's what we're going to clamp onto the blower assembly. So the hose is going to come down, do a 90, and go across over to there. So here's the bracket. The bracket is going to go right on there. Okay, so that has to bolt right on there. So its clearance couldn't be any higher. It would hit the blower, so it had to be there. And that tucks it in behind, so that's perfect. So now we just need to get a bolt through there. Let's see if we can find a bolt. Okay, there's got to be a bolt or something in here. Oh, that'll be perfect. It's got the lock nut and everything, star washer, whatever you call it, built into the nut. Perfect. Okay, so there's the hose with the clamp on the one end and the clamp down at the other end, and the new bracket.
It's a strap, Cowie. A strap. Didn't you see that or read that in the assembly manual?
We'll check how much clearance we got. There's the clearance we have on the shaft there now. We will test that when we get her down. But there's the clamp.
OMG, it's a strap.
Bent over, bolted in. So it was not a major component, but it's a vital component. Hope that helps you in your Corvair-ations. And thanks for watching, and we'll keep on putting videos out because we're having fun and we're making progress.